I guess first, Dan, your reaction to the teams that are coming here and the top 8 seeds?
Yeah, I told them out there after practice today, just proud of them and the accomplishment of hosting a regional. I tried to tell them, don't get caught up with national seed, and that's, that's for the second round. You just have to focus on the first round. And I just wanted to congratulate them. I say it, I think it's one of the greatest accomplishments in college baseball when you could be selected to host a regional. With almost 300 Division I teams, to be one of the 16, I told those guys, man, that's a great accomplishment. I'm proud of you. But let's focus on playing good baseball. Let's see who we're matched up with Friday night. Really, anything past that, man, you're wasting energy and you're wasting time. Let's not get caught up. Let's just focus on what we can control, and that's who we play Friday night and getting ready to play good baseball.
Do you know anything about them at all?
Yeah, they've got a good program. They're traditionally good every year. They're very competitive. They play a tough schedule. They always go down and play an SEC school for a weekend early on, and they got a beautiful ballpark, overlooks the city. Curtis Granderson is a graduate from there and gave a lot of money, and it's good baseball. And we recruit so many kids from the Chicago area that we run against them, in recruiting, and they're on all the best kids up there, and it's a good school, and it's a really good program.
After missing hosting a regional last year,
yeah,
was that much of a goal or focus you guys having the chance to do that this year?
Yeah, it's a goal every year for our kids, but this group that's juniors and seniors, as freshmen and sophomores, they were part of hosting a regional, hosting a super regional, going to Omaha. So last year they got to see life on the road, and you go to a Texas Tech, and it's just not easy. And so it was a real eye-opener for all those guys that had never been on the road to go, okay, if we want to do damage in the postseason, we increase our chances if we host. So that was definitely a goal, and it just kept us a little more focused. Midweek games and Sunday games, and probably games we let get away last year that forced us to go on the road. We were able to close out this year and finish.
Dan, I know you focus on this week, and like you said, the national season's not a huge thing, but I think in the last 5 years, you and Florida have the most of anybody in the country. What does that say about the program and the consistency?
Wow, a lot of good players. I mean, really just really, really good players, guys that perform at a high level. I love it because it's a lot of Midwest kids, not all, but a lot. It's we speak for the brand of baseball in the state of Kentucky and in the Midwest, and then our coaches, have obviously done a great job of helping these kids perform at the highest level. So, the national seed it's a great honor. I think it's great for our fans, in the planning world. But again, in our world, man, hopefully we continue to just focus on Friday night, and then knowing that we'll play one of the other two teams sometime Saturday.
What are your thoughts on having Indiana in here? I mean, obvious connection, and you played them.
I think it's great. Do you want to play teams that you played during the year? Not necessarily, but you realize it's regionalized, and I think it's great for the fans. It's great for their fans. Chicago's not that far, and of course Illinois State. I mean, so I would like to think, like we usually get great crowds. I'm good with the visiting team bringing a great crowd, and just adds to the atmosphere. And like they said on the show, it's a really good program with a lot of good players, and so it'll be, if we get to play them, obviously it'll be a big test.
How would you describe the atmosphere here for postseason baseball?
It's great, and I learned from other players talking to our players, other players who played in the Big 12 or the SEC or the ACC over the years when they would go play summer ball with these guys from Miami or Oklahoma State or Vanderbilt, and they would talk about, man, we played in that regional there in Louisville, and what an atmosphere. It was great. So for me as a coach, to hear a kid from another program, another league, experiencing different ballparks around the country, saying that, man, they had so much fun, or the crowd atmosphere. We're a good fan base, during the year, and I know we got a lot of challenges, with basketball and the weather and things like that, but I can proudly say, man, we're a great fan base in the postseason. I mean, this place is rocking. I mean, this place is, we get the two-strike clap going, and, every out, that our fans understand the magnitude of it, and getting off the field with 2 outs. our fans have learned, over the years and have grown, and it's a comfortable feeling as a coach knowing, man, you got a great home field advantage, and the fans get excited for this.
Dan, you said down in Durham that you could tell the preparation leading up to the ACC tournament really kind of wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
Have they kind of got back dialed in?
Yeah, it was. You would expect it. We addressed it and had a great practice Saturday and good practice today. Anytime you get them going early in the morning, but just knowing it's all about preparation. That's the get back to preparing to play good baseball, and it's challenging when you're the number one seed and you win everybody's telling you how great you are and you win the tournament, but you're playing in a 12-team grind in the ACC tournament, so you turn the page, you move on, and so far these guys have done that. They've prepared to play good baseball Friday night. 2
national seeds for the ACC, and then the teams that got in. Just kind of, you've said all year how strong this conference is, but it kind of proved it again.
Yeah, and I knew on our resume, 12 teams make the ACC tournament. Take us out, there's 11. We played 10 teams. All our 30 ACC games were against teams that qualified, and I knew we played a really good schedule. We played the 5 SEC games, but just knowing if you could survive in our league, you should make the NCAAs. If you win, Georgia Tech and Louisville won both sides and are both national seeds, and we argue it's if it's not the best baseball conference in the country, it sure is one of. And so I'm excited to see what our teams do in this postseason.
Dan, obviously the tough schedule, even though what happened last weekend, obviously helped you out.
No doubt. I mean, college baseball is going to be regionalized. We can only play basically everybody who's in a 3-hour radius, but we have a little flexibility early on where we'll travel in some non-conference early weekend travel. Who can we get to come in here and play? And last year we had Texas Tech in a midweek series. This year we had Ole Miss. I mean, we're going to try to play as good a schedule as we can play, but you always have to understand too, it's regionalized. I mean, you can basically only play teams within a 3-hour radius, give or take, with kids going to class and midweek games and busing, and so I think we do as good a job as you can in scheduling.
2017 lost Boston full tournament, made a positive series. Can you learn anything from that? Take anything away from that in a similar situation?
Yeah, I share history with these kids a lot, and so they know the ACC tournament's not do or die, and so sometimes it might be why we don't play as well. Believe me, I want to play well down there. I want to win it. Last year we were one hit away from winning it. So next year we'll try to be the first team to win that tournament. But it really starts with the regular season and the resume that you put together, and so they're smart enough and they're schooled enough to know what happened last week has no bearing on who can play well in the regionals, super regionals, and ultimately who could try to win a national championship.
Like you said, you don't want to lose down there, but do you think you kind of maybe needed those, maybe not needed, but just to help refocus?
I wish I was that smart to intentionally try to lose or play that bad. The kids know how competitive I am, but when it happens, you feel like as a coach, okay, I got their attention now. It wasn't my plan, but when it happens, you go, man, it's a heightened awareness right now. I can get on them and they can respond better than if you just keep winning and dominating. And we said it last year when we lost. The other team won and they were giddy and they were happy and they should be. But I said, man, you lose your edge. And that team went 0-2 in the regionals last year. And so it happens all across the country.
Dan, how did you approach that after the second game down there? Did you get on them a little bit, or did you?
Yeah, no, I probably got on more after the first game. After the second game, it was, all right, guys, let's pack up and get home. We got to get better. Let's address the things we need to address, and it's pretty simple.
Pitching, do you plan on just going with your normal rotation Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Or?
No, probably not. I think just sit down with Coach Williams, let him, look at both possible matchups, knowing you play Illinois, Chicago, and then, okay, who could you play on? Obviously, there's 2 teams that you could play on Saturday, so you can't be afraid to mix and match and move the rotation around a little bit. And because of some guys on the DL, it's been like that the past few weeks anyway. So we've had a lot of guys throwing in different spots, and the Thursday, Friday, Saturday series and the conference tournament starting on Wednesday, it kind of gets everybody a little bit out of whack. So we'll sit down and try to figure it out.
Do you feel like you're as healthy as you've been in a while?
Yeah, no, we're we're as good as we could be right now. You know, Bennett's back and he's thrown. You know, he's got to run out there 2 times. Kirian threw in the conference tournament. We didn't get Poland out there, but he threw in our sim scrimmage on Saturday. So we feel like we got everybody available. No excuses here on that standpoint.
What does it do for you in the postseason to have a guy like Reed, who I'm sure you have quite a bit of confidence sending him out?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have the horses. I mean, you can't advance through the postseason unless you got horses, and more than just Reed. I feel like with Reed and Bennett and Miller, you know, you got 3 guys that have pitched an awful lot, a lot of weekend experience the last 2 years, 3 years for Nick, and so I feel good, you know, about our potential weekend rotation, however we line it up, and you just got to go out there and play. Just go out there and play good baseball, make the routine plays, and let's get back to being the offensive team we've been for most of the year.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.